a saying. Give evidence for the sake of Allah, even if you have to testify against your parents or your own son. But do not give evidence to cause harm to your believing brother. The narrator says that, I asked, what is zar? He said, it is when someone who has a right, and in order to obtain it he resorts to oppression, contrary to the order of Allah and the Holy Prophet s. For example, a man is indebted to another, but the debtor is in straitened circumstances. In this situation, Allah has ordered that he must be given respite till he becomes self-sufficient. And Allah says, then let there be postponement until he is in ease. Surah Al-Baqarah 2. 280. Now if in spite of this the creditor summons you to testify, and you know the poverty of the debtor, then it is not permitted for you to testify that he has taken the loan. 8. A tradition from Imam Musa al-Qadim, A. Muhammad ibn Qasim ibn Fuzail narrates a tradition from Imam Musa al-Qadim, A. He says, I asked, Imam, A. One of your devotees has taken a loan from an enemy of yours. The creditor wants to oppress him and have him imprisoned. Allah SWT knows that he has no money to repay the debt. Neither is he capable to do so at present. He does not even have al-bayana, two just witnesses to prove his bankruptcy. Then is it allowed for him to take an oath so that he can prove his bankruptcy and obtain respite till the return of favorable conditions. And if from your Shias there are some witnesses who can testify against him, that he has taken the loan, can they testify? Single quote. Imam Musa al-Qadim replied, it is not permitted for them to testify. And it is not permitted for the creditor to oppress the debtor. 9. When testifying harms. When we speak about haram testimony that causes harm to a Muslim, we mean a wrongful harm or unjustified oppression, but if the person deserves to be punished, it is wajib to give the evidence. 4. Example: a person commits a crime. The witness of this crime does not testify only because if he does so, the one against whom he testifies will demand the debt which the witness owes him. This is not a valid excuse for withholding evidence. The criminal must be punished according to Sharia even if the witness has to suffer a monetary loss. However, if the hardship for the witness far outweighs the seriousness of the crime of the accused, then the witness has a valid excuse to refrain from testifying. Harm and being deprived of benefit. It must be mentioned that to be harmed is different from being deprived of some benefit. In the examples already mentioned, if a witness refrains from testifying due to fear that the accused will deprive him of some money, or that some benefit may not accrue to him, this does not amount to him being harmed. However, if the accused is the employer of the witness and will fire him from his job, thus causing untold hardship, then it is allowed for the witness to refrain from testifying, as it could be regarded as harm in common parlance. Hence we can conclude that false oath, false testimony, and concealing evidence, each of these are greater sins if there is no risk of any harm. If there is any chance of any harm to a Muslim or an innocent witness, then they do not remain sins, they are permitted. Rather, in some circumstances these actions become wajib, as we have seen from the traditions of Mazuman, A. However, as far as possible one must give priority to the more important alternative. 1. Wasil ul-Shia had forgotten the pact. They once more entered into a pact with the Holy Prophet only to violate it at the time of the Battle of Khandaq Trench. They went against the pact and sided with Abu Sufyan. In various places in the Holy Quran we find that fulfilling a promise has been made obligatory and highly emphasized. For example, and fulfill the promise, surely every promise shall be questioned about. Surah Al-Isra, 17:34. Also, O you who believe, fulfill the obligations. Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:1. Similarly in Surah Al-Baqarah the ayat says, and the performers of their promise when they make a promise. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:177. We also find the following verse. O you who believe, why do you say that which you do not do? It is most hateful to Allah that you should say that which you do not do. Surah As-Saf 61:2-3. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq has explained this ayat in the following manner. A believer's promise to his believing brother is a vow that has no expiation, it cannot be broken. But one who goes back on his word declares his opposition and enmity to Allah, and invokes the anger of Allah. 1. After this the Imam recited the Above-mentioned ayat. Amir al-Mu'minin, Ali, advises Malik al-Ashtar regarding the honoring of promises. Breaking a promise causes the anger of Allah. 2. Ali, also quotes the same verse after this. Hazrat Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, said, "There are 4 types of sinners who are punished very soon. The person who violates the pact that he has made with you, even though you have respected it. One who inflicts harm upon you even though you caused him no harm. One who has promised you something and you are faithful upon your agreement but he is unfaithful. One who wants to sever relations even though the relative wishes to continue the relationship." 3. Abu Malik inquired from Imam Zain al-Abidin, "Inform me about all the rules of religion." Imam told him, to speak the truth, to judge with justice and to fulfill the promise. 4. Although a vast number of traditions and ayats denounce the breaking of promises, we shall quote some selected ones. Types of promises. There are 3 types of promises. 1. Promise of Allah SWT to his creatures. 2. Promise of the creatures to Allah SWT. 3. Promises of the people among themselves. The promise of Allah SWT to his creatures is that of the Alam al-Zar in the spiritual plane. We come to know of this promise through the Quranic ayats as well as the traditions. According to this, Allah SWT first created the souls of all human beings and made the following covenant. That they remain upon the right path, do not associate anyone or anything with Allah SWT, obey the commands of their prophet, and do not follow Shaitan. Allah SWT shall recompense them by helping them, by keeping them forever in his mercy, and give them a place in paradise. But if they do not respect their covenant, Allah SWT will also disregard his side of the promise. It is for this very fact that Allah SWT says, "And be faithful to your covenant with me, I will fulfill my covenant with you." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:40. Allah SWT also says, "Did I not charge you, O children of Adam, that you should not serve the Shaitan?" Surah Yasin 36:60. The covenant that Allah SWT took from the people in the spiritual plane also includes the oath with regard to the wilayat mastership of Amir al-Mu'minin, Ali, and the Imams. Numerous traditions mention this fact. It is even recorded in the various heavenly scriptures, and all the prophets have conveyed the message of the wilayat of the 14 Mazuman. However, some scholars have rejected this concept of the Alam al-Arwa or Alam al-Zar. They give a different explanation to the traditions and ayats that deal with this subject. According to them, Alam al-Arwa, the spiritual plane, is essentially the innate human nature, which is so designed by Allah SWT that it is desirous of obeying Allah SWT's command and does not desire to follow Shaitan. Of course, the reasoning capacity of man directs him to follow his nature and accordingly obey Allah SWT's orders. Hence, if a man goes against Allah SWT's command, he goes against his own nature. These thinkers consider the covenant to be the same as the innate nature given to us by Allah SWT. This book is not concerned with the detail of these 2 theories. Anyway, whether a man breaks the promise given in Alam al-Zar, or goes against his innate nature, he commits a greater sin. This fact has been emphasized in most ayats and traditions, and it is confirmed that honoring the covenant is wajib and not respecting it is haram. It is also confirmed that the breaking of this first covenant can bring severe chastisement. The people are also warned of dire consequences in case of default. The traditions also inform us that serious retribution incurred just for violating the first covenant, which is the greatest of the sins. Hence it is incumbent upon the people to fulfill their covenant, so that Allah SWT may also fulfill his promise. Allah SWT has promised to answer every prayer. One of the promises of Allah SWT to his creatures is that he will answer every prayer.